Hello. Hello. If you stumble across this video, I know exactly what you are going through. Last month I went on my first ever solo trip to Lisbon. And I was absolutely petrified.
There are some things that are scaring me.
I was so unsure about every little decision I had to take, constantly worrying that the smallest mistakes might ruin my entire trip or compromise my safety. But let me assure you, nothing happened. And let me ensure you, for you, it's all going to be okay. You've got this. There's no bad scenario waiting for you. I promise you, you will enjoy yourself. You will enjoy your trip. It will be the best time of your life. One of the biggest questions I had before my trip was about accommodation. Where should I stay? Hostel or hotel? And that's what today's video is about. First question, who are you? So this is a really reflective question that you should ask yourself. Who am I? Are you an introvert? Are you an extrovert? Are you an ambivert? How do I charge myself? Do you need people to have fun? Do you need just your own company? Reflect on that. Here's what I learned. Any personality type could have fun in a good hostel. You will find yourself in a good hostel. You know, even if you're an introvert, you will have really so much fun. During my trip in Lisbon, at first I stayed in an apartment so that I could see if I could stay in a hostel. I wanted to build up the excitement and the challenges. I stayed in two different hostels. The first one was the home hostel, and this and the second one was Yes Hostel. They were both great. If you're introvert, I would recommend you to stay in a hostel. You will be stepping out of your comfort zone, but you will have really a lot of fun. And if you're an extrovert, I don't even have to mention you. Stay in a hostel. Don't worry about it. You will have fun. You will even adopt the introverts that I now may be convinced that they should stay in a hostel, because introverts and extroverts need each other so that they could have maximum fun. I am like a mix of introvert and extrovert, and at the end of my trip I was so overwhelmed. I thought I was going to be nuts, because it was so loud for me. It was so much for me. It was so many people. I discovered that I needed my alone time to recharge. I needed the silence, the calmness. I was finding myself going into stores and at the back of the stores so that I could just hear nothing, but there was music also playing. Yeah. And the thing, in the both hostels where I stayed in, they were both in a very crowded street. So even going out of the hostel, it was crowded, it was loud. So just so you know. But the perfect combination for an introvert, I would say, would be to, if you have the budget for it, book a hostel, but maybe mix it up with an apartment at the end if you feel overwhelmed, or a hotel. But it's just optional. You can survive the hostel experience at the end, and you will have really so much fun. Trust me. Second question you should ask yourself is, why are you traveling? What's your goal? What do you visualize when you booked your ticket in your first solo trip? When you close your eyes, what do you want to do? Do you want to party? If you want to party, go to a hostel. Don't hesitate. Hostels organize a great nightlife. They will guide you through it, and you will go with them. And even for a safety matter, it will be so much better for you in a foreign country to be surrounded with people that will guide you through that life. For me, for example, I wanted to clear my head. I wanted to go to a country where I didn't speak the language. At that time, 1 month ago, it seems like a long time ago, but really I took my life so seriously, my career. I was a little bit lost, and I just wanted to get away from where I was at and change the entire surroundings and reflect on myself. It was really, for me, a solo trip where I wanted to answer some questions for me. That's why I went alone. But at the end of the day, even when I stayed at a hostel, I met some strangers and people who gave me some insights. Sometimes a single conversation with a stranger could leave you deeply inspired. My why was to find some answers and to reflect. that why really matches the hostel staying experience. Before that, I imagined I would go there, lock myself in, have a journal and just write and read my book. It didn't happen like that, and I'm very, very grateful that it didn't. Third question you should ask yourself is, how much do you value comfort? How much do you value your comfort? If 8 hours of uninterrupted sleep is very holy for you, don't go to a hostel. It will not happen. At least for my experience, I don't recall sleeping 8 hours. My sleep was always interrupted by someone. Like, for example, a girl woke up at 2 a.m. and she started packing her bags and her luggage. All the lights were on because she had a flight. Another girl came at 3 a.m. with her friend because she was out partying. It goes on and on, so don't expect to be respected in a hostel. Like, not respected, but like, it's so rare to be in a room with 8 people or 6 people and have the same sleeping schedule. And if sleep is really important for you, don't go to a hostel. At the end of my trip, I was really like on my nerves because I didn't sleep that well and I needed silence and I needed my alone time and my space, but it was worth it. I can give you like the cons and the pros of staying at a hostel, but the cons are many, but it's worth everything. So the conclusion, what could we conclude? Before my trip, I was terrified of staying in hostels. I looked at their Instagrams, websites. It was like really always videos of 20 people drinking together and eating together, and they were like, oh my god, we are family, chatting, always speaking. And I was like, I could imagine myself being in the corner of that room and having social anxiety, and it made me really nervous. But then, after stepping out of my comfort zone and having taken that step, I don't regret it at all, and I will really recommend it for you if you have like the slightest consideration of booking a hostel in your solo trip. You will really find some inspiring people who are doing the same thing as you, which is solo traveling. Trying a hostel will give you stories to tell. I hope you liked the video. One thing for sure, anything that you will decide, it will be your story, and you will know for sure only if you take the leap and try it out. If you want to try the hostel, go to the hostel. If you want to try the hotel, go for a hotel. Go for it. There's no bad scenarios. You will have fun. Bye.